Hi guys, Mosax here again. Welcome back to the channel. This is Mosax Newworld Empire. Teaching teachers and as well as students in this channel has been my pleasure. So today I'm going to share with you, should you start learning the saxophone on letter notations or by Solfa notations? I've been teaching saxophone for 2 decades now, and I've had teachers learn under me, and I've had students also. Now, over the years, I think I can tell you why you should learn with Solfa notation, or why you should learn with what? The letter notation, the pros and the cons, what are the advantages and the disadvantages of learning with Solfa notations. Actually, learning with Solfa notation has its own disadvantage. Yes, let me tell you that. Why also learning with letters has its own disadvantage. Now, since there's always a disadvantage in the two methods, the two notations, then a good teacher will find a way to bring the two together. And that's what I'm going to show you today. Now, I teach with Solfa notation because Solfa notation gives you the advantage of transferring whatever you have learned, whatever you learn on one key to another. So you carry a knowledge that is transferable to other keys. For example, if you learn with Solfa notation, you want to learn Amazing Grace, for example. You already know the Solfa notation for Amazing Grace as so, do, mi, re, do, la, so. So, do, mi, re, so. Mi, do, mi, re, do, la, so. So, do, mi, re, do. Now, that is going to be what you're going to be playing by ear. You have that. If you know how to bring out the Solfa notation of any song, or you know the Solfa notation of a song, you already have an advantage of playing that song in all the 12 keys. But if you don't know it in Solfa notation and you learn it in letter notation, that means you have only learned it on that one key. So if you learn it on key G, in the letters of key G, that says D, G, E, B, G, B, A, G, E, D, D, G, E, B, G, B, A, D, B, D, B, G, B, A, G, E, D, D, G, B, G, B, A, G. It's quite more difficult singing with letters than singing with what? Solfa notation. So it's easy for me to sing with Solfa notation than to sing with letters. People that learn with letters usually just say B, G, A, G. They can't sing with it. They can just read it. You just have to read it. But Solfa notation over time becomes part of you. It becomes more like a language. You can sing it. It's just easy to communicate in Solfa notation among musicians. Now, if you know Solfa notation, now it's time for you now to go to that particular key that you want to learn it on and begin to know that, okay, G stands for my do, A stands for re, B stands for me, C stands for fa, D stands for so, E stands for la, F sharp stands for what? T, and then G stands for G. So now for do. So now you begin to learn it before you master that arrangement in Solfa. You have to go through what we call the permutations, major scale, pentatonic scale, the permutation. Then before you start, so it becomes to form that, okay, this is my do, re, this is my mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. So now over time begin to know that this is my do, this is my so, where's my la, where's my ti, where's my mi, where's my re, where's my ti, where's my so, where's my do. So you begin to know where it is. So if you now get a solfa notation written for you. The student haven't learned permutation. Do re mi fa so la ti do la so fa mi re do. On the key of C. So another student is learning it as C, D, E, F, G, A, B, F, while another student is learning it as do re mi fa sol la ti la so fa mi re do. So the guy is putting solfa notation in his mind, and the other student is putting what? Letters in his mind. So student A is saying C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, while the other one is saying do re mi fa sol la ti la so fa mi re do. Which of these two students is going to be of an advantage on the long run? This one is learning with letters, and this one is learning with solfas. Now I'll start with the guy learning with solfa. The guy learning with solfa notation is able to gradually progress to learning the songs in solfa notation. So he has an advantage of knowing the solfa notations of the song, and he's able to play it very fast. As quickly as he's mastering the solfa notation, he's able to quickly pick it on the sax. So over time, he knows that this is so, this is la, this is ti, this is do, this is re, this is mi, this is fa, and so on and so forth, like I did on key G. Now, so if you ask him to play Amazing Grace, so he puts so, do, mi, re, do, la, so do, mi, re, so, mi, do, mi, re, do, la, so do, mi, re, do. So the guy actually begins to understand it on his own. At this point, he's not thinking of E, he's not thinking of so, he's not thinking of G. He now calls this G so, he calls this A la, he calls this E mi, he calls this D what? Re. So he carries the mentality of what? Do, re, mi, fa. So no longer he throws away the letters, so that mentally he can explore, he can do well. So any song he gets to a point, any song the teacher just writes on solfa notation for him, oh my god, as long as he's seeing it, he start playing it. Re mi re do fa mi re mi do ti la so fa mi so la so do ti la so fa mi re do. Now, because he's able to carry solfa notations upstairs in his mind, more like an ear training naturally, because he's able to sing with it, the guy with the letters will always have to look at the letters. It will take him time cramming the letters. He will have to always stay on his book to know, okay, C, B, A, G, F, B, A, G, F, E, G, G, A, G, C, B, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. So because he can't sing it, it will be difficult for this guy to cram the letters. But over time, the guy with solfa notation will naturally know the solfa notation. All he needed to now know is that what? This thing we call G is his so. This thing we call A is now my la. Now, what is the disadvantage of this guy learning with solfa notation? And now, the disadvantage of the guy learning with solfa notation is that when he gets to another key, he needs to, let's say key D now, he needs to start with, he needs to go back to letters to know that what? Key D is what? D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So he needs to, so from the letters, he will now equate D for do, E for re, F sharp for mi, G for fa, A for so, B for la, C sharp for T, D for do. So the arrangement will now have to start changing again because he has already mastered saw as what? G. A as La. Now it has changed. So at this point the student is confused. So sir, you said saw is G. Now the same G is Fa. The same G in another key is La. The same G in another key is T. The same G in another key is Fa. How do I cope? How do I now master 12 letters assigned to one, Solfa notation? But the way it works is that it works like magic. The guy will have to forget about key C and stay on key D now again. So he go do re mi fa sol la ti do ti la so fa mi re do. So he start practicing the permutation all over again. Do re mi fa so. And that's why permutation is very important, because permutations, different permutations that you will learn all over again, will begin to help you know again that okay, this is my mi, this is my fa, this is my so. It helps you rearrange the arrangement. I get about rearrange the arrangement. I hope that I'm not confusing you. So he begins to rearrange it in his mind. But there's an advantage when he gets to key D. The advantage is that when he was learning the first time on key C, he was learning so fast at the same time, equating it with letters. But when he gets to a new key after mastering key C, key D is, if it takes him a month to learn key C, it's going to take him only a week to learn key D. Because the Solfa notation is not new. He probably by this time will not be looking at the note. Even if he's looking at the letters, the notes, the few of the Solfa notation will have been entering his mind. When you ask him to play Amazing Grace, he's not learning the Solfa notation of Amazing Grace again. He's now just trying to equate it. He has now left the book. Everything that is happening in his brain, not in the paper. So he has carried the Solfa notation and he's now focusing on the letters and gradually letting go of the letters and bringing back the equation to mean that what? This is my mi, this is my re. Since this is my re, this is my la, he already carries the Solfa notation. So the moment his brain adjusts to that new key, he start playing hundreds of songs again. He start playing it. He start playing like so he start playing it immediately. Are you following me? Stay with me. This class is very interesting. I'm going somewhere. Alright, so the guy learning with letters comes to key D and there is a problem. The problem is that he already learned it as what? C, B, A, G, F. Now, the teacher is telling him again that no. It's now what? D, C sharp, B, A, G. So the guy is like, everything has changed. So even if he crammed, even if he memorized that letters to play it on key C, when he gets to key D, he has to start memorizing something different. He has to start memorizing something actually different. So the teacher will have to write it again in a different letter to tell him that, okay, the letter is now what? This. But the advantage of the guy who is learning in letters is that D never changes, B never changes, G never changes. So the moment you write it for him, he start playing it because G is always G, F is always F. So once he's looking at it, he can quickly just pick Fa, F, B, whatever you write, he knows. He can forever and ever, he doesn't change. His mode doesn't change because he knows it's always C, this is D. So when you say D, he knows where to go. When you say B, he knows where to go. When you say C, he knows where to go. When you say G, he knows where to go. But you have to write it for him. And he is not being able to internalize. The major advantage of the guy learning with Solfa notation is that he is able to internalize that song in Solfa notation, that you don't need to write it for him again. So when he's able to learn on his own without a teacher, while the guy learning with letters has to stay longer with the teacher, and the teacher has to write the song for him in 12 letters, in 12 keys. So if I'm writing Amazing Grace for you now, I have to write it on G, write it on A, write it on B, write it. But the guy on Solfa notation, I just give him the Solfa notation of the song and then teach him how to fish it out. There's an adage that says teach people how to fish, not don't give them fish. So I have taught you that what major scale is tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So you take it, when you get to a new key, you bring out the letters of the major scale of that letter, assign them to do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and begin to mentally, not theoretically now, mentally what? Equate your each letter to the Solfa notation. So that the moment your mind adjusts to that rearrangement, you automatically start playing all the songs that you know. You don't need anybody to start changing the letters from E to F to G to this to that to this to this. Are you following me? So both has disadvantage, both has advantage. It all depends on what works for the student. But me as a teacher, which one do I use? It depends on the students. Some students, they come, they are learning, and then you start them with Solfa notation. When you go to a different key, they will still be calling this, instead of calling this F, they will still call it Fa. Instead of calling this G, they still call it So. No, if you are watching me now, understand this, those of you that learn with Solfa notation. G is G. Don't call G So. Because when you call G So, you have to be key specific for you to be talking about Solfa notation. Solfa notation is key specific. You can't say this is So, except you have already let the person know, or you already help us understand that you are on key C. Because this G is Do, is Re, is Mi, is Fa, is So, is La, is Ti, is Do, is everything. Is Do, Di, Re, Re, Mi, Fa, Fi, So, Di, La, To, Ti, Do, only G. So when I hear students start saying, we are on key D now, and he's saying, I say, okay, key D, play La. You don't say, oh, you say La, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La. Oh, La is T. No, La is not T. They want to interpret key B, key D with the knowledge they have, with the Solfa notation they already know on key C. No, La is B, not La is T. So when you are learning with Solfa notation, don't over condition your mind to mean that this is Do, this is Re, this is Me. That's why I don't take you too long on key C before I start introducing key D. So that before your mind start telling you that, oh, when you hear So, this is So. No, this is not always gonna be So. I also understand that when you get to a new key, the old key keeps clashing with the new key. Stay on it and forget about that key. The problem is even more when you want to practice more than one key at the same time. Many of you start learning with Solfa notation. You want to learn key C today, learn key D tomorrow. No. Or you are practicing in the same practice session as a student. You are learning 2-3 keys at the same time. You can't work that way with Solfa notation. Solfa notation is more of a mental program, while letter is more of a paper program. So do you understand what I mean? So you are programming something in your mind. So it takes you some time with that key to program, so you forget about other keys. So when you get to key F, you stay on key F and begin to go Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. You are no longer thinking about key D or key F or key C that you already learned in the first place. So you stay on key. So your mind starts telling that this is Do, this is Re, this is Mi, this is Fa, this is So, this is La, this is Ti, this is Ti, this is Ti, this is Do. You know what I mean? Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. So you start staying, then permutation helps you to master it again. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. But the guy on the letter automatically just know that what this is F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. So whatever the teacher writes, that program didn't change. The guy is F is still F, G is still G, but the theory has to change. That song has to change. Do you understand what I mean? So it has to change. But the moment it's changed, this guy automatically start playing it. But he has to keep looking at, imagine there are 100 songs, and the 100 song has now changed again into what? Into different letters. So the guy will have to like, hey, But if the solfa notation remains the same, the guy with solfa notation only just stay with F for another couple of times. He just marry it as do, re, mi, fa, sol. He's not learning songs in this key. He already knows the song in solfa. So all he needs to know now is, okay, my do now is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The moment his mind adjusts to do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, what happens to this guy learning with solfa notation? He automatically start playing all the 100 songs without needing anybody writing it again. So in the long run, the guy with the solfa notation finds that time to stay with key C, key C sharp, key D, key. So he has favorite keys, yes. He begins to master it one after the other. Time is going to come. He's going to be self-independent because he's able to know the solfa. In fact, solfa notation that you look at it now, you're looking at it on paper, gradually forms part of you. And the moment it forms part of you, any song given to you, you don't need anybody to write down the solfa notation for you again, because automatically your mind, your ear picks it and it becomes natural. So music becomes a thing of, all you needed to do. Me now, if I go to sax now, I don't have problem with solfa notation. All I need to do is to just know that key D as do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. I know where my mi is, I know where my sol is, where my la is. Over time, I go to G. Sometimes it takes me just a few minutes of warm-up exercise, permutations, and G is back. Then automatically, anything you ask me to do at that time, I start doing it. When we get upstage, we forget about G, F, A, B, C, D. Those things limit us. So, but we just carry the solfa notation naturally to that key, and then mentally, over time we just close our eyes and we know where the letters is. When they swap key again, but man of God, if they just change key, what do? Over time, as you stay on those two keys that are going to change, if you are going to modulate to one key to another, master those two keys. Sometimes you miss it, turn it to a. Sometimes we still miss it. We miss it. Maybe the other key is clashing with this one. But before you know it, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, everything is back. Over time. So why the guy learning with letters remain on paper, especially when it comes to playing of songs, there you will not have to remain on paper, because you just carry the solfa notation, mentally marry them to the new key, and then you start playing. What's my advice? If you want to go into contemporary, learn with solfa notation. But if you are this classical student who want to just play classical, usually classicals are actually more organized than contemporary music. And church Christian music is now more you have more churches. 90% of churches now are now on the contemporary than on the classical. You see how few churches, apostolic faith, one of these these churches that still do classical. The key is always key F. If they are singing 10 songs, they will sing it in 10 keys. So the letters are there. That's one thing with staff notation. It doesn't change. Letters are there. So the guy just look at the note. The moment he look at the note, he can play as fast as you can imagine. Because imagine learning 10 years and F is always F, G is always G, B is always B, C is always C, D is always D. The guy just look at it and he probably just put his eye on the note, and then his fingers are just mentally, because over time he knows where B flat is, he knows where C is, he knows where all of this is. But this is why you have problem with people that learn with solfa notation. Stay with me to the end. People who learn with solfa notation, they need to also learn certain techniques with letters. I must say this. Slurring should be learned with what? You should learn slurring with what? With letters. When it comes to slurring, I teach it with what? I don't teach it with solfa notation. I don't tell you that delay, mommy, mifa. Of course, I still show you the solfa notation. But I actually want you to mentally picture it with what? As what? If I want to slur D now, I will teach you as C sharp to D, C sharp to D, C sharp to D. So you learn it with gradually you begin to master the fingering. You begin to master how your finger move for the slurring of that. So if this is saw, slur, param. If this is la, slur la, param. If this is D, if this is T, slur T, param. You see? C sharp to D, C sharp to D. It doesn't change. It's always going to be what? C sharp to what? To D. So when you are on do, if you learn it as what? Dire before. When you get to key D, it's no longer dire, it's now tido. It has changed. But if you learn it with letters, the letters remain. So if it is do, just do like this. You know how your finger move. If you want to slur E, or theoretically is what? D sharp to what? E. D sharp to E. But mentally, when you are now working with Solfa notation, you want to slur your re on the key of D. Just move your hand. Just, you already know. You have to interpret it with letters. Okay. Re, I want to slur re. Re is E. Oh, E, 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 D sharp to E, D sharp to E. I want to slur my La on the key of C. Oh, La is what? A. Since it is A, G sharp to what? A. G sharp to A. G sharp to A. If you are on the key of F and you want to slur me, that same me, that me is what? A. A is always G sharp to A. Over time, your slurring, you carry your slurring naturally if you master fingerings. So begin to say, if I'm on key F now, I know how to slur my do, I know how to slur my re, I know how to slur my me, I know how to slur my fa, I know how to slur my so. Any slurring you have done on a previous key is going to remain the same, fingering wise, not Solfa wise. If it was fiso, 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 don't cram it as fiso, fiso when you are learning slurring. Just take it as so. That is, if this is now my re, what do? It's now the re, the re, the re. To avoid that confusion, you know that what letters remain the same. So you learn slurring and grace notes with letters. Once you get to a new key, you begin to learn it with letters, the re, mo, re, do, the re, mo, re, do, the re, mo, re, do, or what? Toti, do, ti, la, toti, do, ti, la. That's what la, so, la, ti, do, la, So it becomes la, ti, do. That's D sharp. So whatever it is, you know how the slurring of C is. So you carry it, grace note. So you learn grace note more with what? Fingering, theoretically using the letters, and then after a while, the fingerings remain the same, no matter the key. So that's how we guide our students. And then both people, if you are learning with letters, if you are learning with Solfa notation, I can teach you. There are students I have students who are on letters. They just learn better on Solfa, on letters, and I keep them on letters. So whatever works for you, Mosax with his team, we are ready for you. Make sure you register for my one-on-one classes so that we can take you. You see, different students are unique. That's why YouTube alone cannot teach all students alike. Some of you learn faster with letters. Some learn faster with what? Solfa notation. Whichever works for you, I'm there. I observe the student and I know what works for them. As I'm talking to you, 20% of my students are learning in letters, while 80% are learning with Solfa notation. Both of them still have to learn with Solfa notation. The guy learning with letters has to learn Solfa notation a little, while the guy learning with Solfa notation still have to learn the letters. So it's both ways. So the class actually does just mean that what? Which should you emphasize on? Should I emphasize more on the Solfa notation, or I should keep the student on the letters? But as a teacher, please carry the student in the two aspects. So a good teacher is a teacher who both knows Solfa notation and also knows what? Letters. Once you know that, you are a balanced teacher. You can teach any student around the world. So thank you so much. I'm expecting you in the library. The library teaches you with both letters and with both words, Solfa notation, and the courses are well arranged. So if you don't want a teacher one-on-one, just simply get the library and then you are good to go. All right, guys. So I'm expecting you guys to reach out to me in my number in the description box on WhatsApp, and then get started with me very much. Thank you. I remain Mosax. In this channel, I keep bringing tutorials like this. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you share this video so that others can learn, and then they will thank you later. Thank you so much. Bye. See you in my next class. Bye.